Hello everyone, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and today I am sharing with you 12 books that will self-destruct in 12 months if I don't read them. So like I said, today I am going to share with you 12 titles that I am hoping to read in the next 12 months. I'll check back in a year and see how I did on this stack, but if I do not read them, I have to get rid of them or they'll self-destruct. So I went through all of my unread shelves here on my physical TBR and chose 12. They are mostly ones that have been on my shelves for quite a long time. So I am just going to share the book with you and tell you a little synopsis of them, if there is a synopsis of them, because this first one that I have is the oldest copy I've ever seen of Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. This one I've had on my shelves forever. It's a classic. I feel like I should have read it by now in some sort of high school class or college class, but I have not read it. This I know nothing about, so I'll just read the blurbs on the back. The Los Angeles Mirror says, "A triumph, a classic of our era." The Chicago Sun-Times says, "An apocalyptic masterpiece." And the New York Times says, "Wildly original, brutally gruesome, vulgarly, bitterly, savagely funny. It will not be forgotten by those who can take it." So, I'm excited to hopefully get to this one, or else it's just gonna go away. Plus, it's this old grungy copy, but that's okay. All right, the next one is also a classic on my shelves. It is The Bridges of Madison County by Robert James Waller. This one I've had on my shelves forever. Most of these fit into that category. But this one says on the back, you know what? No, we're not going to read that because that is an actual blurb from the text. So this says, "There are songs that come free from the blue-eyed grass, from the dust of 1,000 country roads. This is one of them. And so begins a story that you will never forget." The Bridges of Madison County is the story of Robert Kincaid, a world-class photographer, and Francesca Johnson, an Iowa farm wife. Kincaid, 52, is a photographer for National Geographic. A strange, almost mystical traveler of Asian deserts, distant rivers, and ancient cities, he is a man who feels out of harmony with his time. Francesca Johnson, 45, and once a young war bride from Italy, lives in the hills of South Iowa with flickering memories of her girlhood dreams. Each of them is content, yet when Robert Kincaid drives through the heat and dust of an Iowa summer and turns into her farm lane during her looking for directions, their illusions fall away and they are joined in an experience of uncommon and stunning beauty, an experience that will haunt them forever. As the photographer, Kincaid uses light to reveal not objects, but rather his own kind of truth. What occurs by the old bridges of Madison County becomes a prism transforming the ordinary emotions we think we understand into something rare and brilliant. The result is a passionate, deeply moving experience in lyrical prose, an achievement that puts Robert James Waller in the forefront of this country's new fiction writers. So, that's that. It's a short little number, less than 200 pages, so should be able to read this one. And we have a more recent classic, you could say. This is The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. This is the second book in The Handmaid's Tale. I have recently binged the most recent season of The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, but I heard that this takes a very different approach to the sequel of The Handmaid's Tale. This one just says on the back, "The Republic of Gilead maintains its repressive grip on power, but it is beginning to rot from within. At this crucial moment, two young women with radically different experiences of the regime will come face to face with the legendary ruthless Aunt Lydia. But how far will each go for what she believes?" So I really, really enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale, and I've heard that this one doesn't live up to The Handmaid's Tale, but I'm excited to read it nonetheless. But it's been a long time coming. Then we have one that I wanted to read for ages. Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This one says, "No one's ever told Eleanor that life should be better than fine. Meet Eleanor Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her carefully timetabled life, where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with Mummy. But everything changes when Eleanor meets Raymond, the bumbling IT guy from her office, whose big heart will ultimately help Eleanor find the way to repair her own profoundly damaged one. Smart, warm, and uplifting, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine is the story of an out-of-the-ordinary heroine whose deadpan weirdness and wit make for an irresistible journey as she realizes the only way to survive is to open your heart. I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and so I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. That's the reason it's on this list, so that I do pick it up. That is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. Then another one that I am embarrassed to say that I have not read yet is The Help by Catherine Stockett. This one says on the back, 3 ordinary women are about to take one extraordinary step. Abeline is a black maid in 1962 Jackson, Mississippi, raising her 17th white child. She's always taken orders quietly, but lately it leaves her with a bitterness she can no longer bite back. Her friend Minnie has certainly never held her tongue or held on to a job for very long, but now she's working for a newcomer with secrets that leave her speechless. And white socialite Skeeter has just returned from college with ambition and a degree, but to her mother's lament, no husband. Normally, Skeeter would find solace in Constantine, the beloved maid who raised her, but Constantine has inexplicably disappeared. Together, these seemingly different women joined to work on a project that could forever alter their destinies and the life of a small town, to write, in secret, a tell-all book about what it's really like to work as a black maid in the white houses of the South. Despite the terrible risks they will have to take and the sometimes humorous boundaries they will have to cross, these 3 women unite with one intention: hope for a better day. I'm sure I'll love it. I know that this is many people's favorite books, so excited to hopefully read this one in the next 12 months. Then, next one on the list is a historical fiction that I believe my sister read or was from her shelves in high school, and this is just like meant to be because on the front it's blurbed by Catherine Stockett, author of The Help, a beautifully written, thought-provoking novel that I'm telling everyone I know to read. This is The Post Mistress by Sarah Blake. This is in 1940. The main character, Iris James, is the postmistress in coastal Franklin, Massachusetts. Iris knows more about the townspeople than she will ever say. For example, that Emma Trask has come to marry the town's doctor, and that Harry Vale watches the ocean for U-boats. Iris believes her job is to deliver secrets, yet one day she does the unthinkable, slips a letter into her pocket, reads it, and doesn't deliver it. Meanwhile, Frankie Bard broadcasts from overseas with Edward R. Murrow. Her dispatches begged listeners to pay heed as the Nazi bomb London nightly. Most of the townspeople of Franklin think the war can't touch them, but Iris and Emma and Frankie know better. The Postmistress is a tale of 2 worlds, one shattered by violence, the other willfully naive, and of 2 women whose jobs are to deliver the news, yet who find themselves unable to do so. Through their eyes and the eyes of everyday people caught in history's tide, it examines how we tell each other stories and how we bear the fact of war as we live ordinary lives. I love World War II historical fiction, so I'm sure I will love it. It's just I have not picked it up yet for some reason. Okay, I think another historical fiction we've got on this list is St. Maisie by Jamie Attenberg. This one says, big-hearted and bawdy, Maisie Phillips owns the Venice, a New York City movie theater. When the Great Depression hits and homelessness becomes rampant, Maisie opens the Venice's doors to those in need and so becomes the beating heart of the Lower East Side. Decades into the future, her long-forgotten diary is discovered by a documentarian. Who was Maisie Phillips, really? A chorus of voices from the past and present fill in some of the mysterious blanks of an adventurous, singular life. Inspired by a real woman who was profiled by Joseph Mitchell in The New Yorker, St. Maisie is an ingenious new take on historical fiction infused with wit, vitality, and heart. So looks like a dual timeline, looking back at someone's diary from the 1920s. Is that what I said? Great Depression. So yeah. So that's cool. I remember buying this book from a Barnes & Noble, and I got like 5 books at that same time, and I don't know if I've read any of them. One of them was a Spool of Blue Thread that I bought at the same time as this. So, been on my shelves for a long time. Next, we've got a historical fiction mystery with Mr. Churchill's Secretary by Susan Elia McNeil. I found this one and the second one in this series at library book sale, and I have both of them on my shelves. Never gotten to them. So this says, London, 1940. Winston Churchill has just been sworn in. War rages across the channel, and the threat of a blitz looms larger by the day. But none of this deters Maggie Hope. She graduated at the top of her college class and possesses all the skills of the finest minds in British intelligence. Yet her gender qualifies her only to be the newest typist at number 10 Downing Street. But working for the Prime Minister affords her a lot of access, and Maggie is soon ensnared in a web of spies, intrigue, and an assassin's murderous plan. I think this is the first one in the series. Yeah, wonderful debut. So, that's the first one in the series. I would like to get to it so that I can know if I want to continue that series. Alrighty, a romance on my shelves is Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. I also have the second one in this series, Something Blue. This one says, Rachel White is the consummate good girl, a hardworking attorney at a large Manhattan law firm and a diligent maid of honor to her charmed best friend Darcy. Rachel has always played by the rules. Since grade school, she has watched Darcy shine, quietly accepting the sidekick role in their lopsided friendship. But that suddenly changes the night of her 30th birthday when Rachel finally confesses her feelings to Darcy's fiancé and is both horrified and thrilled to discover that he feels the same way. As the wedding date draws near, events spiral out of control and Rachel knows she must make a choice between her heart and conscience. In so doing, she discovers that the lines between right and wrong can be blurry, endings aren't always neat, and sometimes you have to risk everything to be true to yourself. Sounds like a good romance. Plus, obviously, it looks like there's a movie. It'd be fun to read the movie. Or watch the movie. Read the movie. Oof, duh. All right, we've done 9. We've got 3 left. The next one on my shelves is Peace Like a River by Leif Enger. And this one I picked up because I heard it was the favorite book of 2 gals on a podcast. The podcast is called No Thanks We're Booked, and I don't think they're recording anymore, but they compared every book to this book because it is just their all-time favorite. So this one says, Leif Enger's debut is an extraordinary novel, an epic of generosity and heart that reminds us of the restorative power of great literature. The story of a father raising his 3 children in 1960s Minnesota, Peace Like a River is at once a heroic quest, a tragedy, a love story, and a haunting meditation on the possibility of magic in the everyday world. I'm not going to go on because my throat is dying, but it sounds like a little bit of magical realism and a story of a father caring for his children. I hope I will love it. Then one that maybe I bought at the same time as St. Maisie. I don't know. I just distinctly remember buying it from Barnes & Noble with a stack of other books. This is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt earlier this year. Not my favorite, but for some reason, this one still has some intrigue for me. So this one, the main character's name is Theo, which is my son's name. Anyway, this says, Theo Decker, a 13-year-old New Yorker, miraculously survives an accident that kills his mother. Abandoned by his father, Theo is taken in by a wealthy Park Avenue family. He is bewildered by his strange new home and tormented by his longing for his mother, clings to the one thing that reminds him of her. A small, mysteriously captivating painting that has come into his possession. As an adult, Theo moves easily between the antique store where he works, the drawing rooms of the rich, and the underworld of art. He is alienated, unmoored, and in love, and drawn inexorably by the power of that painting into a narrowing, dangerous circle. So I wonder if this will have some sort of like mystery vibes like The Secret History had and like Dark Academia. Kind of. I know it's maybe not set in a school, but like the art culture reminds me kind of that. And I just looked, this book is almost 800 pages. Holy smokes. These books by Donna Tartt deceive you with how many pages they are, because The Secret History was quite lengthy too. Okay, the last one on my shelves that I see at basically every library book sale ever, and multiple copies of it at that, is Cold Mountain, a novel by Charles Fraser. Let's see what this one's about. I really have no clue. Cold Mountain is an extraordinary novel about a soldier's perilous journey back to his beloved at the end of the Civil War. At once a magnificent love story and a harrowing account of one man's long walk home, Cold Mountain introduces a stunning new talent in American literature. Based on local history and family stories passed down by the author's great-great-grandfather, Cold Mountain is the tale of a wounded soldier, Inman, who walks away from the ravages of the war and back home to his pre-war sweetheart, Ada. Inman's odyssey through the devastated landscape of the soon-to-be-defeated South interweaves with Ada's struggle to revive her father's farm, with the help of an intrepid young drifter named Ruby. As their long-separated lives begin to converge at the close of the war, Inman and Ada confront the vastly transformed world they've been delivered. Charles Fraser reveals marked insight into man's relationship to the land and the dangers of solitude. He also shares with the great 19th century novelists a keen observation of a society undergoing change. Cold Mountain recreates a world gone by that speaks eloquently to our time. Oh, this one sounds kind of boring. But it's on the list nevertheless. So I will check back on November 23rd, 2023. Oh, that's easy to remember. 112323. Okay. That's when I'll check back to tell you if I have read. Oh, let me get this stack. If I have read these 12 books. And if not, they will go bye-bye. They will self-destruct. So, I'm going to have to write these down somewhere so I don't forget them. But, you know, if I can read one a month for the next 12 months, I should be okay. Let's hope. All right. These are the books in my... These books will self-destruct after 12 months. Let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these books and if you liked them or you didn't. I'd love to have some bookish conversation with you down there. Like this video on your way out. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more bookish and bullet journaling content from me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.